It might sound silly, but I always wanted to play D&D, and I finally got the chance to do so. If you missed the previous videos about the topic, I encourage you to watch them since they introduce our party members. This is a funny retelling of my first D&D game, more exactly of the first season of the game. It starts with Tajit and the others reaching the city and they're asked to approach a sort of street magician show. Honestly, Tajit would have joined that, but we need to start the adventure somehow, man, so get on the stage! When the magician performs her trick, our group found itself in another place and a new person approached them. She introduces herself as Malia. She reveals that she was the countess of the city before, how can I say this in a YouTube-friendly way? Being forced to follow a different life plan. The help of her right-hand man, Sablin, she managed to go into hiding. But now, she needs help. She knows that something dangerous is coming. She wants to help her people. That's why she gathered this group. And of course, Tajid has to ask, what does it do again from all this? And Malia just shows her treasury. It's a deal. After some nice food and drinks, remind me to never challenge you to a drinking contest. You will die. They decide to rest in a nice inn with the key making a nice nest on the chimney. They wake up to some mysterious sounds, and upon investigating, they find a purple zombie thing. Things got a little fuzzy because I was falling asleep, and next thing I know, Nate was helping the zombie get ahead in life. Dang, that's up! Anyways, the next morning we realized that we need to wake up the key, so Nate just yeets the goblin. Mission accomplished. At the mansion, Tajid accidentally angered the women of the party because I translated badly an Italian figure of speech. Sorry, man. Anyways, split up to explore an abandoned building. We find a couple of magical crystals, a golden skull. Renee and Sanya find some people hiding in the basement. The big woman keeps an eye on them as Sanya calls the rest of the group. The kid is unfortunately claustrophobic, so can't go down. She'll keep guard outside. As we reach the two bandits in the basement, we prepare for our first fight. I was terrified. I hear stories of characters dying. I was so scared, so I just let Nay and Braz known out to the bad guys. I felt very bad, but everyone was so supportive. There's always next time. You didn't die in your first fight? That's great. Anyone has rope? As we realize we do not, and the expert explains some jokes, one of the bandits gets up and runs. Fortunately for him, he runs into the key. She screeches like only a seagull can, kicks the dude right into some void chest we had. After we stopped laughing, we found a letter. In it, Sablin boasts about how well his plan to take over the city worked and how he's going to replace the king now. Report back to Malia and she is furious. We get ready and take off, but as soon as we get further away from the city, Malia starts to feel sick. Turns out, Sablin cursed her, so she cannot leave the city. Malia gives us a mirror that let us communicate with her. As we explore the forest, we find another group of adventurers that are under attack. Ready to help, and yes, this time Tajid finally fights. He even managed to kill an evil lizard with a firebolt. He was ecstatic. I was horrified. Luckily, these adventurers are going the same direction as us, so we decide to go with them. Teamwork makes the dream work, am I right? As we rest for the night, Rorik and Tajid are plagued by nightmares. So the next morning, to relax a little, Tajid decides to go hunting. He noticed a trail of sparkling little things and follows it. Calls the other to explore the cave we found and we fight a group of hags. The DM informs me that I successfully followed the plot hook. Woohoo! We get into position. I get 3 nat ones in a row with a fireball. The key is outside, paralyzed by her fear of small spaces. The tension is high and I have to leave for dinner. When I get back, Tajit is on the ground with 9 HP and terrified. As I freak out, the key takes the first step into the cave. Then another. And then she is in combat rage. She claps a hand protectively on Tajit's shoulder, her emotional support goblin. Between her and Ney, we make quick work of the hags. We explore the rest of the cave. Anya draws in her book the teleportation symbol on the ground, because she's a nerd. Rick finds a hole protected by a trap. You need to risk an arm to recover the treasure. Now, who do we know that wouldn't mind losing an arm? Oh, Tajit! Where? An eyebrow makeover later, Tajit hands over the contents. We go through the loot of the hags and we find a letter from Sablin to his sister? I totally think it's one of the hags, by the way. But he posts about how he used and tricked Malia to take her place in power, and I was about to do the same thing to the king. We know what's our next destination. We reach another town with the other adventurers, but the vibe is immediately off. And not just because the people in charge are racist. Some of the townfolks talk about some weird shadows they saw the night before. We decide to investigate. Ney uses basically the lasso of truth on the mayor and his pals. Tell us about last night. Oh, you mean about the vampire? Turns out a coven of vampires hid inside the town's church. Time to cleanse it. We throw fire inside, we destroy the roof and kill a few vampires. Except Braz, who's holding one down. Always the pacifist. With the roof destroyed, the key lands inside the church and approaches the vampire. Lesser restoration. The vampire turns back into a human. The whole table cheers. The key manages to cure just another guy because not everyone saw the healing happen. Down folks thank the bird woman for saving their fellow villagers. We did not connect the dots. After the fight, Ney decides to bless the land in her god's name to protect the town from more vampires and stuff. It's complicated. She does it in a very, very YouTube unfriendly way. Good thing Brad is there to calm the town folks. That night we celebrate. We also need to prepare because the vampire that turned the villagers is coming back to town to check on things. We have a day to prepare. We decide to set up some illusions to make the guy think that the city has been taken over by some water spirit and Sanya transforms into said creature with a spell. That night the vampire appears. Sanya jumps out of the water to intimidate the guy. He doesn't back down. It's a fight. Tajit has somehow, in his drunken stupor, found himself on the other side of town and spent the first turns running toward the fight. Why are you like this? As he reached the fight, the vampire has managed to hypnotize Sanya as she was attacking the team. Girl! We managed to defeat the vampire. Turns into some dark mist and it tries to go back to its coffin, and the DM explained that he will regenerate unless he is defeated under the sun or his coffin is destroyed. Ney speaks up. Can I pray to my god to ask for a ray of sunshine? Roll a d100. The clouds part, a stray ray of sunshine hits the vampire. It is dead. The table cheers loudly. Ney and the key gain an additional level and they deserve it, okay? We finally reach the capital and are received by the king. The court magician standing right next to the king is none other than Sablin. Dun dun dun! We warn the king about what his magician is planning, but he's not sure he could trust a random group of adventurers. Sablin laughs evilly and attacks us. He summons 3 elementals. We fight with all we have, including Brad's new gloves that let him deal magic damage. He can punch the fire! We're doing great. We defeated 2 elemental and Sablin is below half HP. And then he speaks. I wish you to disappear. A portal opens and it starts to suck us in. Nate prays to her god for help, where we are whisked away. And we reappear in a completely different place. And this marks the end of Season 1. We compliment the DM and his storytelling, and we say our farewells until Season 2. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. We actually played a different game before Season 2 started, so let me know if you'd like to see that as well, or you just want to see Season 2. Please like, subscribe, comment, all the stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. I got no gun, but I got a knife. Wanna start a fight? 'Cause it's D&D, my level's high. D&D, and I'll win the fight. D&D, powerful. D&D, watch me explode.